The first time he looked at me like that, my heart stopped, not because I understood it, but because I didn't. I remember standing there, holding a tray of tea, watching his eyes soften in a way that didn't belong to me, or at least, that's what I had always believed. I thought those eyes were meant for my sister. I thought every quiet smile, every lingering glance, every unspoken word belonged to her. And maybe that's why it hurt so deeply when I finally realized the truth, because I had spent years convincing myself I was invisible to him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the kind of love that grows quietly in the shadows, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Lonely Dad's Strong Heart. Your support keeps these stories alive. I grew up in a house where love was loud, but never gentle. My sister had always been the center of everything, brighter, louder, more confident. She was the kind of person people noticed the moment she walked into a room. I, on the other hand, learned early how to blend into the background, how to exist without being seen. It wasn't something anyone taught me directly, but life has a way of shaping you without asking for permission. When he first moved into the neighborhood, everything changed, though I didn't realize it at the time. He was different from anyone we had ever known. A single father, quiet but strong, carrying the weight of the world in his eyes. His little daughter clung to him like he was her entire universe, and maybe he was. There was something about the way he cared for her that made people stop and look, not out of curiosity, but out of respect. My sister noticed him immediately. Of course she did. She always noticed the things that shined. She would find reasons to pass by his house, to strike up conversations, to laugh a little louder than necessary when he was around. And I would follow quietly behind, pretending I was only there because she was. I told myself I didn't care. I told myself he was just another man passing through our lives. But deep down, something in me stirred every time I saw him. He never spoke much, but when he did, his voice carried a calmness that felt rare in a world full of noise. And sometimes, just sometimes, I would catch him looking in my direction. Not at my sister, but at me. Those moments confused me more than anything else. I would quickly look away, convincing myself I had imagined it. Because why would someone like him notice someone like me? Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. My sister grew more certain that he liked her. Everyone did. It was obvious, they said. The way he listened when she spoke, the way he smiled politely, the way he never turned her away. And I believed it too, because it made sense. Because it was easier than questioning something that felt impossible. But there were moments, small, quiet moments that didn't fit the story I had created in my mind. Like the time his daughter ran past my sister just to grab my hand. Or the way he would thank me, not with words, but with a look that felt too deep, too intentional to be accidental. Or how he remembered the smallest details about me, things I had mentioned only once in passing. I ignored those moments. I buried them under logic, under fear, under years of believing I was never the one people chose. Then one evening changed everything. It was raining heavily, the kind of rain that makes the world feel smaller, quieter. My sister had gone out with friends, and I was alone at home when there was a knock on the door. I opened it to find him standing there, soaked, his daughter asleep in his arms. He looked exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally, like he had been carrying something heavy for too long. Without thinking, I stepped aside and let him in. That night was the first time we truly talked. Not the polite, surface-level conversations we had before, but something deeper. Something real. He spoke about his struggles, about raising his daughter alone, about the loneliness that crept in during quiet nights. And for the first time, I didn't feel invisible. I felt seen. But even then, I told myself it meant nothing. Because hope can be dangerous when you're not used to it. Over time, those conversations became more frequent. He would stop by occasionally, always finding some small excuse. And I would listen, always careful not to let my feelings show. I built walls around my heart, convincing myself I was protecting it. Meanwhile, my sister grew impatient. She couldn't understand why things weren't progressing the way she expected. She was used to being chosen, used to being the center of attention. And his quiet distance frustrated her. One day, she confronted me. She asked if I thought he liked her. I remember hesitating, not because I didn't know the answer, but because I wasn't sure anymore. Something had shifted, something I couldn't fully explain. But old habits are hard to break. So I nodded. And in that moment, I betrayed my own heart. Everything came to a breaking point during a small gathering at our house. Friends and neighbors had come over, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter and chatter. My sister was radiant, as always, drawing everyone's attention. And he stood quietly in the corner, his daughter by his side. I watched from a distance, my chest tight with emotions I didn't fully understand. Then it happened. My sister walked up to him, her confidence unwavering, and said something that made everyone turn to look. I couldn't hear her words clearly, but I knew what she was doing. She was finally asking him, openly, boldly. The room fell silent. And for a moment, time seemed to stop. He looked at her, then past her. At me. That was the moment my world shifted. Because the way he looked at me wasn't uncertain. It wasn't confused. It was clear, steady, and filled with something I had spent years denying. He walked past my sister, past everyone, and stopped right in front of me. My heart pounded so loudly I thought everyone could hear it. And then he said the words that changed everything. He told me that all this time, I had misunderstood. That every glance, every quiet moment, every unspoken feeling, it was never meant for my sister. It was always me. I felt the ground beneath me disappear. Years of self-doubt, of believing I was invisible, of convincing myself I was never the one, came crashing down all at once. I wanted to believe him, but fear held me back. Fear of being wrong, of being hurt, of finally hoping only to lose everything. But then his daughter stepped forward and held my hand, as if she had known all along. And something inside me broke, and healed at the same time. Love, I realized, doesn't always come loudly. Sometimes it grows quietly, patiently, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Sometimes it hides in the spaces we overlook, in the moments we dismiss, in the feelings we're too afraid to acknowledge. I had spent so long believing I was not enough. But in his eyes, I was. And that changed everything. If this story touched your heart, if you've ever felt unseen or overlooked, take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. Your support means more than you know. And before you go, I have a special request for you. Comment below, I deserve to be chosen too. Because you do. In the end, I learned something I wish I had known much earlier, that sometimes, the love we think belongs to someone else has been quietly waiting for us all along. And when it finally finds the courage to speak, it doesn't whisper. It changes your entire life.